Hey there friends, welcome back to the Live Joy Southwest Florida channel. Today we're addressing something that has been heavy on our hearts. Many of those in our community have been recently impacted by both Hurricanes Helene and Milton and are facing some very challenging time. Our thoughts and prayers are with everyone affected. In true Southwest Florida spirit, we believe in being prepared and finding joy even in the toughest of situations. So today let's talk about what you can do before, during, and after a hurricane, because after all, being prepared can make a huge difference. Sharon Waugh says, in the event of a hurricane, the previous inspirational quote is irrelevant. You need preparation, not inspiration, when a hurricane is coming. First things first, an emergency kit. You're gonna wanna have extra batteries, extra chargers, flashlights. You wanna have bottled water just in case water goes out, at least 1 gallon per person per day, ideally for up to 7 days. I know, it's a lot of water. First aid kit, all of these types of things need to be in your emergency kit. Oh, and non-perishable foods. Don't want to forget about that. And don't forget about any essentials you might need for your pets. Important documents. You want to have all of these gathered together and stored in a waterproof container. Your passports, any insurance documents, any medical record, anything that is of vital importance to you, you want it ready to go in the event you have to quickly evacuate. You want to know exactly where it is so you can grab it and boogie on out. Next, you want to prepare your home. There are a few things you can do to prepare your home. If you don't have impact glass, you're going to want to install your hurricane shutters. Bring anything that's unsecured inside. You might want to move your furniture in. If you have Kevlar storm screens, that's great. You roll everything underneath those, shut them down. For people who don't have them, that means bringing your lanai furniture either into your garage or into your home. Another thing that you want to do is you want to have pictures and video of the contents of your home in the event that something happens. One great product that's available by one of our partners, Realtors Southwest Florida. They are the photographer that we use for most of our listings. They actually have a Matterport 3D tour that is a great product that you could have available where you can walk through your home and you can have documentation of everything that you've got. So if this is something you're interested in, definitely reach out to them. Tell them the Guillette Group sent you. You can contact Realtors at 239-464-7969. Great product that's digital and available. And if something were to happen, you can easily send that off to your insurance company. It is of vital importance that you know with where you live what your evacuation zone is. I'm going to put a link to the map here so you can see it. You also want to know what evacuation route might be in the event that you do need to leave. We're in Florida, Southwest Florida. We've pretty much got two options here. We can go east to the east coast of Florida and then north if needed on 95, or we can go north on 75. So we don't have a tremendous amount of options for evacuating. This is one that's really challenging, but if you're thinking of evacuating, make the decision quick and make it early so that you can try to get ahead of it and beat the rush out of the area. You want to make sure that you have a way to stay informed. While we have power, internet, all that stuff, everything is pretty easy. But in the event that we lose power, for example, during Hurricane Ian, we lost power, internet, and water for 5 days. So you need to make sure you're prepared for that. So for us, we have a battery operated radio that we were able to still get some news and some updates minimally. You'll take anything you can get when you're put in that position. So just make sure you've thought through that, have battery powered stuff with extra batteries, which we've already talked about, so that you can keep informed. All right, we're now going to talk about during the hurricane. You can dance in a hurricane, but only if you're standing in the eye. The storm is here. And let's talk about this for a minute too. We talk about hurricanes for days before they actually make landfall. It's one thing that is a lot different from where I grew up in the Midwest with tornadoes, where you have very little warning that they're coming. Literally, you are talking about hurricanes for days. So by the time the storm gets to you, you're already feeling a little fatigued, but don't worry. This is where you really want to keep your spirits up. You've done all your preparation, so now it's time to just get through the next step. Just know, if you see Jim Cantori down the street or close to where you live, you're gonna be in for a rough one. It's really important that you stay away from windows and stay safe inside. There's a lot of wind that comes with a hurricane, and there can be a lot of flying debris, so you wanna make sure that you're keeping safe inside. You also wanna understand where the interior room is. With our last hurricane, Hurricane Milton, there were some tornado warnings that came with it due to the wind and the speed and the way the storm hit. So you want to make sure you know where is your best interior room to take shelter Again, you want to have a hurricane plan just like you would have a tornado plan or anything like that. So you're going to want to find an innermost room with block walls and no windows to keep yourself safe. Just a little note here in Florida, in some of our communities with two-story homes, the downstairs is built of concrete block and oftentimes the upstairs is wood frame. So while the heart of the storm is coming, it might be best for everyone to find a spot on the first floor to ride out the storm. Now let's talk about the infamous hurricane parties. You probably hear Floridians talking about them. Listen, it's still about being safe, but it's also about having fun and keeping morale high. So pull out those board games, tell some stories, have a movie marathon if you've got power anyway. Great time to catch up on a book. Perfect time to spend some time and get some quality with your family and your loved ones and whoever you're riding the hurricane out with. Definitely keep it low key, but be informed and be aware of what's happening with any changes with the storm. During this time, you also want to conserve your resources. While you have power, make sure that you're continually charging up your phones and your devices. We also have, got a kit from Costco that are able to charge up. It came with flashlights, it came with a lantern. So we get all these charged up so that we have some light in the event we lose any power. There's also some awesome products that are like solar chargers that you can have available and accessible so that if you need them, you can keep stuff charged up. And it's much better to use rechargeable flashlights, a little less risk than using just candles. And most important, as the hurricane is going on, you want to make sure you're monitoring all updates. Keep those devices charged, keep checking in on the radio so that you're getting any pertinent information that you have to have regarding the storm. All right, now we're moving on to after the hurricane. Reminds me of a line from one of my favorite Katy Perry songs. After a hurricane comes a rainbow. Yes, we've survived the storm, so now let's talk about what happens after the hurricane. So the storm has now passed and it is time to focus on recovery and resources and helping people out who need it. Before anything else, you always want to make sure once you're going outside that everything is safe. Keep an eye out for displaced critters. They can be roaming around. They're also displaced from the storm. Down power lines, be careful if there's standing water. Just make sure as you're maneuvering about that it is safe to do so. Time for you to assess and document any damage. So good to take a walk around your property, inside, outside, and start documenting in the event you do have any damage. So you want to get pictures, you want to get video, you want to be able to show the before, which again, you either already had pictures and video, or you got that 3D walkthrough Matterport tour from Real Tours, and then you're able to show all of the impacts for after. This is important information for you to have as you start moving through possible insurance process. You also want to be checking in on your friends, family, and your neighbors and see who needs help. The interesting thing about a storm like this is that sometimes there might be damage to one home and then it might be 3 homes that are virtually untouched. So we want to make sure we're reaching out and being good neighbors and seeing who needs what and how we can help with resources. At this point, you'll start seeing community efforts for cleanups. So it's a great time, especially if you had no damage yourself, to start joining in on these efforts. More people together working, we make a lot of progress faster. And as people start coming back online, there are ways of communication and looking, social media, Facebook groups, the news. There are all types of places that you can start figuring out who needs help and get yourself involved to help however you can. I had friends who were greatly impacted with floodwaters from Hurricane Ian, and it was great to be able to go to their homes and to be able to help them because it's very overwhelming if you're the person that did experience some loss. So just to help, one, maybe give them a break, maybe they need a hug, but also just to help them get to work, because when there is damage like that, the faster that people can get to starting to clean out the house and get the drywall out, just start going through their things, the better. And definitely we go farther when we are together. And don't forget to take care of yourself. You know, it's an interesting time when you see people who have suffered so much and you are fortunate to be able to come out, but it is still a very stressful event. So make sure that you're taking the time that you need. Talk to people. There are resources out there. Whether you had damage, didn't have damage, it still is a big event and it can be very draining, both mentally and physically. Just getting through the storm especially for those people who do have impact. It's very overwhelming and there's a lot to take care of, so make sure you're taking care of yourself. Recovering from a hurricane is never easy, but remember, we're all in this together. By preparing ahead of the storm, staying safe during the storm, and coming together after the storm, we can overcome any challenge. To everyone impacted by Hurricanes Helene and Milton, our hearts are with you. Let's continue to lift each other up and find joy in the resilience of our amazing community. Thank you for watching us today on Live Joy Southwest Florida. If you would like to get a link to a list of hurricane resources and things to help you prepare, shoot us an email at info@gillettegroup.com and put hurricane resources in the info line, and we will get that to you right away. Please share and like this video. If there's any other questions you have about hurricanes, preparing for hurricanes, real estate, living in Southwest Florida, we want to know. Shoot us a message, put it down in the comments below. We want to help you live joy in Southwest Florida. You can contact us directly at 239-776-6872, or you can find us on social media.